Hey, what's up, New Zealand? Michael D'Angelo with Silence Media. I say New Zealand because I don't think these videos get out further than New Zealand. Um, I happen to know that the SIS are censoring the fuck out of me right now. Um, After deleting 96 of my videos from YouTube, because some of them were reaching people all over the world. Interesting, huh? Freedom of speech, my ass. But anyway, everything I say and do is based upon my opinion and the opinions of Silence Media. Let's get into it. The United Nations has a plan, and that plan is working. And it's working well, especially here in New Zealand. But here's the thing. Why is it that it's working so well here in New Zealand? And I'll tell you why. Māori are gullible. They are fucking gullible. There is a huge racial barrier in what's going on right now. And you may see the smirk on my face, but it's not because of what's going on. It's going on, like, the smirk is because I'm trying my best not to say I told you also. I'm trying my best. You see, I look like a white man. I can't deny that fact, right? But I'm Maori Italian. Now, what does that mean? Well, absolutely jack shit to you. It means a lot to me, but it doesn't mean jack shit to you. That's fine, fair enough. Do I own land? No. Do I want land? No. Am I trying to be a land grabber? No. I don't care. Because I know what the narrative is. I know what's coming. And let me make this clear to everybody. And I'm not just talking to Māori, I'm talking to everybody. What's going to happen? Māori are so gullible. The government is talking about Indigenous rights. Have you read the bill? Have you read the Indigenous Rights Act? Have you read? Near the end of it, it says, "And Maori give unto all land and freedom to that of the United Nations under duress." Māori are gullible. Because they all want Indigenous rights. They're not even from this land. But they want Indigenous rights. Okay, all good. All good. Give it to them. Fucking give it to them. I'll tell you why. In the early days of when the Order run New Zealand, and the Order still runs New Zealand, places like Seaview, places like Lake Alice Hospital, places like up north, down south, Māori were so easily led, so easily coerced. All you had to do was take a Māori child, hang him in front of his people and then slit his throat. That was how a lot of Māori feared the European. It was because of massive scale. And you only have to look at half the golf courses around New Zealand to figure out what I'm talking about. The old school golf courses. They are lands built upon the blood of the innocent. People, you're forgetting your history because the government's rewriting it for you. And they're leaving out what they did behind. The Crown still holds at the front of Parliament the Freemason symbol. And it will always hold that of the Freemason symbol. Klaus Schwartz is a member, a 33-degreed member, Grand Master of the Freemasons Order. You can see that when he robed up for his celebration. Just happened to be during COVID. Here's something you really need to know. To get the hot seat in New Zealand, you must be initiated into the order. That is why not everybody gets full terms. That's why not everybody will get a full sitting. That's why Hipkins never had a chance, even a winkle, of ever sitting as an actual Prime Minister. You see, he wasn't an actual Prime Minister, he was a temporary, because Jacinda quit in February. All the rest of those days were to fill in Labour's contract with the Crown. He was a temporary Prime Minister, not sworn in under the order, only sworn in under TV. Now, back to my opinion. My opinion is quite clearly this. In the old days, they brutalized Māori. They brutalized Māori to get what they wanted. And it worked. These days, you can't brutalize Māori, but you can fill their ego, and their ego will destroy them. Now, why would they fill their ego? Well, it's quite simply this. You fill their ego, you give them a little bit, and they'll want more. And you give them a little bit more, and they'll want more. Now, while you're giving them a little bit, you'll take shit from them. You'll give them land, but you'll take the freedom of the land. You'll give them a little bit of freedom on the land, but they'll have to abide by the rules, regulations, and principles and tax upon that land. Māori land is meant to be Māori land, right? But it's not. It's under the taxation of the Crown. Māori land is meant to be Māori land. No taxes, no nothing. It's meant to be Māori land. But no, it's under the taxation of the Crown. It's under rules and regulations, policies and procedures of the Crown. If you want to build a building, you need a building inspector. You need a Crown building inspector to say whether or not you can build a fucking building on their marae. Māori are gullible. They believe everything the government has to say. Dude, it's like the Tiriti. The Tiriti is a dead document. The Queen of England is dead. All the tribes, all the chiefs that signed the document are dead. The document is void by law. Doesn't matter if you take the first one or the second one. They're both all dead. It's done. So if you want a continuation of the treaty, oh yeah, let's continuation of the treaty. Some people say it's the founding document of New Zealand, but it's not. It's not the founding document of New Zealand. Because it was never put to a vote. It was never decided that it was a founding document by both Māori or the Crown. But Māori were led to believe that it's a founding document, like a constitution, but it's not. It's a dead document. So at the end of the day, the Crown can do as they damn well please. And they do. And they put on this big smokescreen for you all to think that we're going to get something out of it, we're going to get something out of it, we're going to get something out of it, get something out of it. Only for them to take it away from you. And it's a vicious cycle played over and over and over again. They played it in the 60s. They played it in the 80s. They played it in the late 90s. They played it in 2001 all the way through to 2006. And laws and regulations were given to Māori. And Māori didn't even see it. The Waikato River was stripped from Māori. And Māori didn't even see it. And all of a sudden, water ownership came into play. Water ownership. No one owns the fucking water. Did you make the water? No. No, you didn't. Did you direct the water to where it fell? No, you didn't. You don't own it. You don't own it. Simple shit. You don't own it. If I want to put a canoe on the river and go down it, I will. You don't own it. If you aim your weapons at me, I'll shoot back. You don't own it. Just like you don't own me. It is what it is. If I want to take a drink, if I want to take a drink from any river in New Zealand, I will. You don't tell me what I can and can't do. Only God, or the Creator, Mother Earth, can direct my path. You don't. You are human. Humans don't own anything. The government of New Zealand says they own land. They don't. They took it. It doesn't matter how they put it. They took the land from Māori. But Māori didn't own the land either. So they took it from the people that were here before. And the people that were here before took it from the people that were here before. And before that, the land was inhabited. But this land was here way before humans came upon it. So no one is indigenous to this land. Like it or not, reality is real. You the people need to wake the fuck up. And then you say, oh, but we're caretakers of the land, but you want to own land. You're not caretakers. You're dictators. In 2001, you sold all your intellectual rights to China. You don't give a fuck about the land. You don't give a fuck about your own fucking culture. Why has Māori never contested the intellectual sale of our carvings? Because they don't care. They don't care. Every other country in the world has a copyright on their carvings. Not New Zealand. Not New Zealand. Māori don't give a flying fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about your culture. They want. And the crown is going to give them a little bit and take a lot. They're gullible as fuck. Because they believe the crown will do their job. They believe the crown will do and uphold some bullshit law that never existed. They believe the crown will uphold a entity that is dead. Labour never upheld the Treaty of Waitangi. Never once sold Māori land like that. Built whole housing complexes. But first, kicked all out. Wordsworth Road in thing with all housing New Zealand houses. Big 4-bedroom houses. The residents were kicked on the street. Yes, were kicked on the street under Labour. They were kicked on the street. The land was sold to overseas investors, slumlords. And now, just about the whole street has been turned into apartment complexes. Housing New Zealand sold them to slumlords. Tripled the rent so that the locals, the original residents, couldn't afford the rent. Whole houses wiped out, taken and sold. The New Zealand Crown will keep taking and keep taxing. Look what they did during the lockdowns. They stole from us, the people. And then they said, oh, well, we'll give you a loan, but you'll have to pay it back to us. Wait a fucking second. You stole from me. You return to me. You give me back what you stole. In that case, the government owes me $2.75 million. But no, I had to go bankrupt. And then I had to pay back slowly, which I've done. Now the government owes me that money, but they'll never ever pay it because they're the crown of New Zealand. They can do as they fucking will please, and you fucking Māori are too gullible to fucking see it. Let's make something clear, people. I'm Moriori Italian. I don't give a fuck about your culture wars. I don't give a fuck about your racial hate, your division. I don't care. I'm not of the crown. That's all within the crown. And it's all a smokescreen. Why? Back in the early 1800s, it was easy to control Māori. What's the best way to control Māori now? Give them a racial war. Make them believe that it's the Pākehā, not the government, the Pākehā. Make them believe that it's the Pākehā, not the government, the Pākehā. Not the government, the Pākehā. The Freemasons still run New Zealand. And that while they're not holding up babies and slaughtering them to put the people in line anymore, they're holding up racial displacement, racial hate, racial division. And Māori are believing it because they're so fucking gullible. It is what it is. I'm Michael D'Angelo with Silence Media. Everything I've said and spoken about is based solely on my opinion and the opinions of Silence Media. It is what it is. Peace.